On Wheatland Road at Park Meadow, and the Kaiser police had an incident with an assault suspect, and he must have barricaded himself in that house because they brought Salem's SWAT team in and they spent some period of time negotiating the man out. Again, this all started with an assault. We don't know at this point how bad the victim is yet, but what I can tell you is off there in the distance is Deputy Chief Jeffrey Coons, Kaiser Police Department, and he will be coming over to talk to us in just a few minutes, so I'm going to ask you to stand by. Meanwhile, I can tell you that traffic's been opened back up. I don't know how long they had Wheatland Road closed, but they did have it closed for a period of time in both directions. They also had Park Meadow here closed. They were rerouting buses and the normal thing. So hopefully we won't have to wait too long for Deputy Chief Coons to come over here and talk to us for a minute. Kaiser time. How you doing? Jerry? Salem News Journal. I'm the TV streamer.
Yeah.
Some police like it better. Got some business starts. No, they've gone code 4. They've taken him into custody, transported the victim. That guy in the middle there is Jeffrey Coons.
Yeah.
So he'll be over here to talk to us in a minute. Careful what you say. My camera's live on YouTube right now. Well, I don't usually get up till about 10 o'clock. And I got a phone call from Channel 12. And by the time I got here, they'd already wrapped it up.
They're not there anymore. Oh,
Dogs up the left. Probably.
feel that heat coming on? You have this. Oh, they're there. Right there.
Down the street there?
Yeah.
Okay. What do you guys want to know?
Well, you pick a spot and then I'll point the camera at you.
Well, probably the house in the background.
Yep, that'll work.
Eric, you can take notes.
Yeah.
Give me just a second.
Too much sun? Not enough sun? Do we want to move
No,
over a little bit?
it's fine. We'll just make the camera deal with it. So, Chief, can you start off by saying and spelling your name for me?
Deputy Chief Jeffrey Coons, Jeffrey Kuhns.
All right, and what can you tell us about today's incident?
I can tell you that we've been here twice in the last 8 to 9 hours. We came out here last evening. Apparently we received a call from a subject inside the house that was wanting police assistance and wanting us to take him to the hospital. Apparently an individual that lives at this house has some mental problem or has some type of injury, and he wanted to go to the hospital to seek assistance. Officers responded here last night, made contact with the residents, and they were unable to locate the subject that had called us. They contacted the parents inside the house and another brother of that subject inside the house, and nobody was able to find him last night after he called for our assistance. No crime had occurred. Officers were unable to find him. They left the residence. That was the end of the story. Shortly after 6 a.m. this morning, we received a call of a domestic disturbance at the house. Basically, officers arrived and they found that the older brother of the subject who called us last night had been assaulted by this subject. He had been assaulted and he was transported to Salem Health, where I do not know the extent of his injuries. And basically after that occurred, our officers tried to contain and take the suspect into custody, and that then led to a standoff where he ran into the house and barricaded himself.
Okay. At that point, you guys, I assume you set up a perimeter. At some point, did you call for Salem SWAT?
We set up a perimeter, we exited, and initially we called for Salem negotiators. So the Salem negotiation team came out, established contact and dialogue with the subject, and ultimately, a short time ago, he surrendered peacefully with no further action.
Okay.
So we were working on an affidavit for a search warrant to go in and physically apprehend the suspect with Salem SWAT. So Salem SWAT was on standby or in the process of activating, but they were also waiting for us to write a search warrant affidavit, present it to a judge, and get the paperwork that is necessary to go inside the residence.
But all of that became for naught because the negotiators were able to talk him down.
The negotiators were successful. They did their job, and thankfully the subject was taken into custody and nobody else was injured.
Okay. You said you didn't know the extent of the injuries. Do you know whether or not they're life-threatening?
I do not believe they are life-threatening.
Okay.
I do know that the older brother, I don't have his name at this time, was assaulted with some type of weapon.
Okay.
I don't believe it's not a firearm, but some type of blunt object. He was assaulted, and he was basically scooped very quickly and transported to the hospital by paramedics.
Okay. I just had another question on my mind, and I let it slip. You'll follow
That's
up.
when Eric's going to jump in with a question.
Yeah.
How old was the suspect?
I don't know. I'm told both of them are in their 20s, but I don't want to just guess.
No, that's okay.
So, younger brother.
Older brother.
Younger brother is the suspect. The older brother is the victim.
Okay. Did they both live at this address?
As far as I know.
No.
So, I don't know much history with this particular residence. I know our officers do. I know our officers have been here. Our officers have had dealings with this individual in the past, and this is what it led to this morning.
You referred to a injury. Would that be like some kind of a brain injury, or
For the
suspect?
That's what I'm being told, but I have not confirmed that.
Okay.
So
That possibly would play a role in his behavior.
Correct.
Okay. Well, is there anything else any message you'd like to send to the public or anything?
Yeah, turn down the heat. And that's it.
Thanks.
Yeah, too hot. So that's all I know. So I'll go back right now.